Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. We're taking a quick look again at Bitcoin. Quick heads up, I did adjust the text size on my screen just a little bit larger. Some folks were saying that they couldn't see the fib levels and or the numbers, so feel free to let me know if that works maybe just a little bit better. Hopefully it helps. What we're going to look at, of course, on the back end data here is some liquidation levels first, kind of go from there and just kind of reference this support range and that really aggressive pullback to that 65.5 mark. Is the bottom in? That's the question I'm getting right now. Generally speaking, when you see this kind of a correction, you got to give it time, and the truth is it probably hasn't finished finding its bottom yet, but you could argue also that we're close to a double bottom. There's a lot of little scenarios here we're going to play out or talk about, but I do want to say thank you again to everybody who's always liking the videos and sometimes commenting below. It's good to hear from you, but more importantly, we've been averaging 100 to 150 likes per video, which is a pretty good ratio, so keep it up, folks. Really appreciate that. Thanks again so much. So taking a look on the left-hand side, this is the liquidation for the last 7 days. We're smack dab in the middle, but slightly closer to the bottom, I guess, if you will. Basically just implying that tons of liquidation occurred yesterday, and this range is kind of large, which basically means everyone's kind of gun shy, which is exactly what you should be right now. Trying to take a long or a short in the face of this is not really all that sensible. Me personally, specifically this being a weekend, all the more reason just to kind of relax and take it easy. Okay, so I'm doing this for you folks, not for me. I'm not really planning to take any trades this weekend, just complete honesty there. Unless there's like a diamond in the rough, something else like perfect setup, really at this point, it doesn't make a ton of sense. But from a liquidation standpoint, there's not a lot of incentive to see the price go up or down, which is kind of good because it does kind of help us indicate that maybe the analysis itself will be a little bit more viable instead of just this constant greed. But once more, market makers got what they wanted. They destroyed a lot of longs there, and very unfortunate, but it's par for the course, folks. This is really common, happens in darn near every industry. It's just a little more noticeable with Bitcoin, just because of its unregulated nature. But we take a look here at Delta, we can kind of see here that we're seeing more shorts in the market right now than longs. And if we take a look at our open interest, most people are long at about 66,600. We have the most amount of positions open at that point. So really close to break even at this juncture based on local price action. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at there on that in that regard. Let's go ahead and take a look at the daily. Work our way down, see what's going on here, folks. And again, the daily time frame, even though we had a pretty ugly candle yesterday, I don't think it's going to be a situation where the price action is like we're seeing a massive divergence. We probably will see some, but I don't think we're going to see all that much. If we look at the 20-day SMA, we're still above all moving averages. As I mentioned previously, unless we close, soundly below 64K, we probably have nothing to worry about. Okay, this uptrend is still looking pretty solid. Taking a look though, of course, we can see we're getting closer to 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is now below the price action, generally unfavorable. While it didn't spend much time above it, there was a little bit of time close to the sun, right? Bitcoin was doing pretty good at that 69K mark, or that 68.8 level that coincidentally took profit on along with, and the price pretty much turned around and didn't look back. Having said that though, stochastic RSI, MACD is diverging here. We got some indications letting us know that a further pullback would make sense. Okay, so I don't want you to get too heavy with shorts, but at this point, it seems like Bitcoin wants to continue lower based on these shifts in momentum. But once more, we got a lot of support below us too. So try not to get too crazy with shorts. If you do, at least don't get crazy in regard to the take profit targets. In other words, some folks have really aggressive take profit targets. While it could happen, it may not, based on this overall trend here that we're seeing. So speaking of trend, if we look at this, we're below the 20 and the 50-day SMA. We have been ever since we pulled back below 67K. So again, instant support level destroyed, right? So we can presume that range, if you will, is kind of going to be working against us. So 67,000 to 68K, strong resistance range. So if the price does travel back into that area, that may be a good consideration to sell, if you will, right? But if we look at the other moving averages, they're below the price action. That's not a big deal. Again, being below the 20 and the 50 to me seems more important to recognize that we're below that key area, that trend has discontinued to the upside. We're still under 50 on the RSI as well. While money flow index is above the price action, that's good. Shows sustainability. We've seen a significant drop in volume, mainly because it's a weekend. But on the same accord, all the more reason really not to trade weekends too, right? But either way, trend strength index coming down here. MACD is diverging still. There's a lot of reasons not to take a long into this. It doesn't make any sense. Now, if we take a look at the hourly, is where it's kind of going to reaffirm the fact that a short position would seem to be much more viable. Now, if we look at this here, we can see lagging span is soon intersect with the price action. So generally speaking, not a good trade entry right now. The conversion line and the baseline are intersecting, letting us know that we're like, there's no momentum really either to the upside or downside. And then of course we've also got the Ichimoku cloud above the price hanging out about 67,000. So that kind of just reaffirms that 67K should be the new resistance. The likelihood of the price action going lower is higher. That's my personal opinion. But on the same accord, it's still fairly risky to take a short right now. But I do think you'll have a lot more success shorting Bitcoin in the immediate future than taking along with it based on this significant divergence, this break below key level resistances. We closed below 67.5. That was kind of the point of contention for me to want to consider either a long or a short. So now that we're below it, it seems much more probable that we're going to see the price continue lower. That's kind of where we're at there for Bitcoin. I mean, it's really nothing new, right? We've all seen this before. If you're kind of shocked by this, then you're probably pretty new to the industry, and that's okay. But the only problem is that this is a consistent scenario in trading. So it could be a problem, obviously, if you let it. But the truth is, you just got to kind of watch the, let this go, move past it. It's okay, whatever just happened. These big old reset buttons happen all the time. And this just kind of reaffirms the importance of good risk tolerance or risk management and making sure that you are not over leveraging. Anybody who was in a 10x trade or higher, anything by probably 20 or higher rather, probably got absolutely destroyed in that situation. So again, if you're tired of getting liquidated, it's really simple. Just don't use high leverage. Simple as that. You may still find liquidation events if you have bad risk tolerance and you don't use a stop loss. That's also a bad strategy. But the truth is, at this point, you want to be careful and cautious in this market. And best way to prevent that is to A, use a stop loss, and to B, make sure that you are not using a leverage amount that's too high. Because if you get really sick after getting stopped out or liquidated, for example, you're probably doing it wrong. You should never feel terrible about it. Of course, it's normal and natural to feel kind of bummed, I guess, in little ways, but you get used to set a specific amount every single time and you'll be much better off. I can assure you that. Anyways, those are all things I teach in my Trading Academy Comedian Signals group. Feel free to check that out. Link down below. Make sure you reference Bitunix too, folks. These guys are awesome. This bonus is available till the end of the month. Only a few more days left to qualify, so make sure you check that out. And I do want to say thanks again so much to everyone for being an amazing part of my life. Deeply appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.